I have died a million deaths and lived as many lives to teach the warrior tribes what they would not learn in any other way. In the end, I am the victor because the warrior tribes are changing fundamentally, while I am rising again and again, leading them and their kind ever onward toward their destiny among the midnight stars. I live everywhere, all over the earth. I have memories to draw upon wherever there were gentle people through whose lives I knew the land. If I try, I can remember their place names, their faces, the streets of their villages, their dances around autumn fires, when the forest floor smelled of dry leaves and moonlight filtered shadows through the naked trees. But other things I do not have to try to remember because those things I can never forget. I am those things. I am often the mountain lakes because these were the last places my people lived before they flew, before they left their human forms and took to the airs of spirit or realms of nature to wait for cycles and changing seasons to bring their time to the world again. I would show you where 500 people lived on the shores of one such lake, yet you might glimpse a human only occasionally, as you might see an otter, beaver, or raccoon, so blended were their ways and so in harmony with earth and sun their living. But the time of which I speak was long before the recent European migrations, long even before civilization influence touched Olmec or Mayan heart. Our cultures were Pacific then in this undiscovered world, between troubled Asians and warring European tribes. Your records speak little of the Americas, because until recently our cultures here did not create history. Our ways were simple. Our troubles, until about 2,500 years ago, were few. Only a few of our consciousness have dressed in human form these 25 centuries now past. Yet when we did, you could not distinguish us from the others. We did not fight. When I put on my headdress and rode my horse across the prairies, I was teaching. I was not fighting. I taught with feather-shafted arrows and landscapes that cradled the sunlight in 1,000 sacred meanings. I drew the cavalry to the prettiest valleys to drink from the streams most likely to give them the truth, so that their children would grow up in the hills near those streams and eat the corn and summer squash that would teach them the wisdom their tribe had forgotten. So I do not mind the time my hands were spread to the side, the soldiers fired, and the body died. Lying there beneath the open sky, with the high prairie grass waving around me as they rode off in dust and disarray, I drew those bullets into something deeper than a body of soil and stream. I drew them into my soul, and my spirit flew to their source. I understood then what kinds of factories made those bullets, what kind of women and children worked in those factories. I understood how they felt about their families as they were pouring the lead, how they regarded their land, what they thought of their fathers, their mothers, their grandmothers, and tumbling and billowing, rolling with them in their jumbled tribal consciousness, like the towering thunderheads that massed over the prairie. I, too, dreamed their dreams, found in them what was true, and made it my own. By digesting their mental words, I learned further of the teachings that would speak to the warrior heart. I taught them of electronics, of radio waves whispering wonders on the wind, of metal wings and material things that would lead them down the slow but certain path to wisdom. Again, as time after time before, I strengthened the educational influence that I have been weaving in, around, and among their societies, while I drew them gently ever onward to their destiny. You thought that you could shoot the dwellers of the prairies and forest, and they would somehow disappear like a troublesome dream. You did not realize that they are my own, just as you are, that they would reappear in your children and in your children's children, and, as your own people, live again. For like you, the Native Americans of recent centuries have also been of warrior descent, with lessons to learn, not unlike your own. But this was not always so. Once we expressed through an American people whose society saw our creations flower and flow like living brushstrokes across the river valleys, lakes, and forested mountains of 2 continents. Listen, and I will tell you of my kind, of the few who have remained to teach and guide you throughout your twilight age. I will tell you of our patient work as century by century we brought the fearful ones closer and closer to the time of their deliverance and the time of the earth's salvation. I will tell you also of the gentle tribes from which we come, the tribes whom some now call angels, but who in simpler days were known by another name. For thousands of gentle circlings of this earth around her star, the people of the Americas, the highlanders of Asia, the natives of Central Africa, and earth people the world over, have known us as the bird tribes. Except for a few of us who remain to guide and influence the course of your histories, the better part of the bird tribe have not been incarnate in human form during historical times, though always we were there in nature and in the spirit worlds around you. Some 25 centuries ago most of us departed to wait for the return of your intelligence and the slow turning of the sacred cycles that would favor your awakening. We are returning now, appearing like the first stars at the pre-dawn clearing of a storm. Into your consciousness we come, appearing subtly at first, a whisper among your dreams. But steadily our presence grows, soon to shine as distinctly as the sun of morning. We come now with a message that will prove vital to you in these last years of history's night. We call to you, human ones, beings of light, rise up from your tradition-bound past and become our creative partners in the continuing unfoldment of wonder. Rise from your cultures to remember your origins and your nature, light bodies like stars. Agreeing to stay in specified temperature ranges for certain periods of time, creating time and space, distances between you, painting spatial landscapes on the screen of time, drawing stardust into the dancing fills of your light. Today you express in tongues and tanks and desert irrigation projects, in urban parks and towers of glass and steel, in ideals that people have and in ways that people live. Yet your past is no indication of your potential. Compared to an artist full-blown in the flower of her time, history's accomplishments are but those of a child groping blindly in a darkened room. When you, incarnate men, know that behind you is the same brilliance, light, and warmth that expresses so passionately in the nuclear release of stars, and when you, incarnate woman, know that behind you is the power of the creative, the power of the new, the balance, the synthesis, the power of truth, then you will know that there is no threat to your life, to your existence. You will know that there is nothing to fear, for the immense powers of Mother and Father aspects of God have joined together in the creation of a material universe designed for your support and flourishment. For 3.5 billion years on this earth, we of the angelic realms have fine-tuned and sustained the precise planetary temperatures most conducive to your growth and development. You have nothing to fear as you move into this cycle of cooperation with us and with your Creator. You are in good hands and well loved. Until recently, you were not in a position to understand these things. For so long as you opened your heart to the frequencies of fear, you used your power to give credibility to fear's illusion. We will help you now tune to the frequencies that will heal your world and draw you toward your future in the stars.